my process, it's fairly simple and it's kind of the same thing every day that I look for. Um, have I molded and adapted my model over the last year or so? Yeah, absolutely. As many of you know, I used to be a YouTube or a unicorn trader, a reversal trader, and even came up and built the C2 unicorn model that you would have seen on my T Talks video earlier this year. That was the model I traded last year. But uh, that whole psychological thing that Josh was just talking about, I found out something about myself as an ICT trader that I didn't like being a reversal trader, so I changed. And that sometimes that happens. You work on building a model, learning a model, trying all different types of models. You become a certain type of trader because you think that's what you're supposed to do based on what you've been taught. But then actually getting in the trenches and actually taking trades and not just back testing, you find out things about yourself that you didn't know. And this may be an unpopular opinion. I've learned now. Obviously, I've been trading for like 20 something years. I took a long time off. You guys have seen my streams before. You've heard my story. Really got back into trading about 3 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing for a good year and really dialed into ICT about 2 years ago. And really, because through T Trades and my friendship with him, have really, dove into his model like a year and a half now. Um, but I found out that I didn't like to be a reversal trader. I also found out that I'm not big on back testing, and I'm not saying that's for everybody. The problem that I have with back testing is that when you back test, you're doing it based on conditions that already happened, obviously. And it's not a real grasp of the market. I much rather forward test. If I'm trying to forward to change something in my model, whatever, I'd rather take eight weeks and not trade at all and forward test it because you don't know what the sentiment's like. You don't know what news events have moved the market. You don't know what Trump is doing, and it's just in what I found a lot of times with back testing is that you'll find a perfect condition to back test a trade, and in the real markets, it just doesn't happen, right? And in a way, you can create this womb of protection for yourself in this safety womb and going, oh, I'm safe when I'm back testing. But in the live markets, I'm scared. Right. I don't know when to execute. I don't know how to execute. I wish I could just hit the replay button and go back. Right. So I'm not a big back tester. Never have, and I've evolved to where I don't like back testing. So I just forward test everything. But I haven't done much of that either because I kind of have my model of what I'm doing. So for me, what it all boils down to, and this is something that AM trades and T trades teaches, is that I just look for daily relevant levels, and I want to know if we're manipulating that daily relevant level or if we're failing to manipulate that daily relevant level. That's it. And then from there, I use EQ of a daily range, and then I hone in a POI from there. All while using my ADR like I always have on the average range levels and the TTFM indicator to help me plot things out. So like going into today, a couple of things that I'm looking at. Number one, did we reach a daily relevant level on NQ or ES? Well, we did. We had to close through it, right? We reached this level here, right? Which you would think is just a failure swing to this level here. But clearly we had a bit of a reaction off of it. Now, YM was better in the aspect that it came and swept. We had to close above, right? So here's an actual swing point created. This on NQ and ES, that's a C3 closure. It's not an ideal C2 closure like this is here. So kind of letting that guide our way. We have a divergence at the low here on the daily, and we do have a clear daily swing point above us, okay? Now, this today has been driven simply because of Nvidia earnings. That's what we got driving the market. And Google yesterday. I don't know what Google news came out on Google yesterday, but something came out, and that's what drove the market. And a lot of the times you can see what's going on with the market simply by, especially if you're an NQ trader, It's simply by looking at what the Mag 7 are doing, right? So I actually created a ticker on my watch list that's all of the Mag 7 stocks, and it puts it into one ticker, so it looks like it's one stock itself. So all together, the Mag 7 have a combined value of $2,452, and you can see they're up 2% today. So a lot of this helps me kind of look at what's going on with the market. And sometimes this can help you with divergences, especially like with ES, because there's more stocks than ES. However, the Mag 7 still make up like 30% or 40% of the ES itself. So if you're seeing a divergence where ES is going down, but yet the Mag 7 is going up, that's probably just a manipulation. So, but for today, it's really simple. I'm going to use the 9:30 open to confirm if we're going to continue going higher. And what I would like for us to do is simply just go to these highs. I mean, it's real simple. That's the target I have for that. The only other thing I'm really interested in today is the currencies. And the way I trade the currencies is I let the dollar guide my way. In other words, the structure on or on the euro and the pound, I would like to line up with structure on the dollar. So in other words, here's a swing high right here on the dollar. This same swing high was a swing low on the euro, right? So I'm letting the dollar guide my direction. So what I would like to see on the euro or the dollar today is simply us run for that high, which means we would be running for that low. So we went up just to it, and we're getting a bit of a retracement now on the dollar. Yeah, and see, so how we're creating a new swing, trying to create a new swing point. I would like to see this continue higher and us turn and go bearish on the currencies. So that's really what I'm looking for today. But other than that, it's pretty simple for me. I'm just going to look and see what we get at the 9:30 open here today on the NQ and ES to take a run higher up to those highs. So it's pretty simple today for me. So one thing I will note, the 33%, again, it's an important level in the daily range, but what we saw here was that price went up above it and then came back to it, at least on ES, tested it, and is continuing to trade higher off of it. So this here shows me that ES is a little stronger. Obviously, YM is the strongest here because it's above its split ADR and continuing to go higher. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's really all I'm looking for today is I just want to see we went above this high here. We are continuing above it right here. Let's see what happens at this high. But I would like to see if we can, at the 9:30 open, maybe get a little bit of a Judas swing down and then create a new swing point just to take a trade up to the high. I mean, it's pretty simple. That's really all I have for today as far as what I'm looking for. That and the euro. So we'll have to see what 9:30 open is going to do here.
I got a quick question for you, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
sure.
The Apple Nvidia ticker that you use, do
Yeah.
you divide them by 7 as like equal weights,
No,
or
no, it's
what
really
do you
simple. You
you
just
just
go
add
into
them up?
here. Yeah, you just go into here and then you start typing in tickers, right? Apple,
Hmm.
AAPL. And then you can hit this plus sign and then you can do Nvidia and then you can do the plus sign, Google, plus sign, Meta, plus sign, uh plus sign, and whoever else. I forget whoever else is in there. But yeah, you just do that and then it creates a ticker, the whole
No,
thing.
I got you. I was
Yeah.
just wondering if you divided them as like equal weights. That was my
Oh,
question.
no. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I obviously you can look at what they're currently weighted and Nvidia, Microsoft and Apple are the top 3 out of that. But I don't. I just look at the whole index as a whole. I'm not really worried about the individual. I mean, back in the day, a couple years ago, it was as simple as whatever Apple does, the Nasdaq's going to do, but Apple isn't doesn't hold as much weight as it used to. A lot of it now is the Nvidia and the AI stocks that are really driving everything, which I do think we have an AI bubble that we're don't know if it's going to burst, but if you guys actually like dig into the earnings of like Cisco and Nvidia and AMD, Some of these companies, like their earnings are based on a circle of investments from each other, right? So it's like, is that real earnings? Right? Is that real earnings, or is it just, you know what I mean? It's like Nvidia received an investment from Cisco and then invested into Cisco, right? So it's like it's just a circle of one company rubbing the back of another company to show that, oh, we have these great earnings. So I'm not necessarily a fan of that when you actually dig into the actual numbers, and where their revenues are coming from. And when you have like Apple, Apple's an anomaly in the fact that it's been able to have such a valuable stock for as long as it has, when like 80 some percent of its sales is the iPhone. And the iPhone is so big now, that everybody has an iPhone. And when you get so big in one specific market, the only thing you that happens is that either you diversify that product by adding additional products like Apple has, as far as like their services that goes along with the iPhone. But like iPhone is so big, the only thing it can do is lose market share, right? Now, the one thing Apple does have going forward is that it's still a very, very small minnow in the PC world. As big as Mac is, Microsoft definitely still has an advantage as far as PCs are concerned. So there's definitely still more growth for there. But that's the thing. Like with Nvidia, if you dig into its numbers, it is really one sided as of to where its revenue is coming from. So that's something that I'm not the biggest fan of, for sure. Let's see.
Also, just curious, I know that you were like on the daily chart. Have you tried using the liquidity depth on the daily with the swing point filter?
Mm-mm. No, never have.
That's a that's a decent way to
Yeah.
automate that markup if you ever want to try it.
What's it do?
Mark out your highs and lows pretty
Oh,
much
marks them out.
almost
Yeah.
exactly like how you have them right here.
Right there. Yeah, I'll have to give that a try. I honestly,
Yeah.
I like doing this myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I already have enough damn indicators on my charts, but I can definitely. And I only have the two, well, three: the power of three, the uh, TTFM, and then obviously the AR levels. But yeah, I can definitely give that a try. You'll have to show me how it works one
Yeah, I
day.
can send over the settings of it right now so you
Yeah,
can see how it looks.
yeah. Go to. Yeah, would like to see us if we can come back down a little bit first, and then put a new swing point in would be nice. Gold actually had a nice. What was it right here? Yeah, earlier today, a nice little auto bias 15-minute entry right here. This is exactly what I want to see. Right there. I don't know if it got 2R. Yeah, it did. It got right at 2R. I would imagine gold's probably going to continue higher to here. I have not been the biggest fan of gold in New York session. Again, any of that follow me on the socials, I've been trading gold mostly in Asia. Um, it just likes to play around in New York session. It will really move a lot overnight, especially in the Asian session. And then by the time New York comes around, it just plays around. It just likes to mess around with people, for sure.
Yeah, so I just sent a screenshot in the chat.
Okay.
For anyone that also just wants to just take a look at that. This is just the daily chart on MNQ, using the time frame like candle as 1 day and the mode of this use swing point mode, and then it pretty
Okay.
much automates those highs and lows.
Can you
So
can you
it's
set it to so many days back, like
yeah,
30 days
yeah,
back? Yeah, that's cool.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And it just stops like plotting when it's rated. So
Yeah.
um, and then you could obviously set like alerts at them too. So I know
Yeah.
you're a big fan of your alerts.
I am. Yesterday one thing I have to get better at myself personally is more patience in New York session, because again, I've been trading a lot in Asia session. Like the only trade I took this week was an Asian trade, Asia trade at the open of the week. It's the only trade I took. And I have to get better at waiting because what I do a lot of times is that I'll just write the day off too early in the day, because I'm like, the everything's already happened, so I'm done. So like yesterday, I really wanted to short YM. We can go to it right here. So if we're looking at yesterday for YM, yeah, see, that was a nice little 15-minute move. But I missed this whole move because I already had written the day off. Once price opened, I really wanted it to go lower, but it did not do that at first. And what I had noticed that if I would have just been a little bit more patient, or this would have been a great way to set an alert right here. Let's go back. Once it loads up. Yeah, this would have been an ideal TTFM. Once everything swept, and there was actually a divergence at this high here because NQ and ES took the higher highs here than YM did. And what at hindsight, what I said to myself, I said, you know what I should have done instead of just closing the charts and then just writing the day off, I should have just set a 30-minute, 3-minute alert. Nothing auto bias because I always have my auto bias alerts on, but just setting a neutral 30-minute, 3-minute alert. And if I would have gotten that alert, I would have been able to snag that trade. But I wrote the day off too early, so that's just something I have to personally get better at myself. What's going on, Trader Kyra? How are you, brother? But yeah, I mean, like, look at that. That was a textbook TTFM right there. Boom. So, but it's all right. I'm not going to grab them all. Let's go back to the charts here. I just want to wait for this 9:30 open to see what it's going to do. YM's trying to put in the continuation here. What's the not really looking like? Yeah, see. I really do think we're going to get these highs right here. And I would like to see a bit of a retracement. If we can put in a retracement here and put in a new swing point. Like, I'm not going to just take this long from here to there. I need to see a new swing point put in. So we already have this divergence here, which is nice. We went past these highs. We've closed past them. Because again, we want to look at these relevant levels, and the relevant levels can be daily or even hourly, and to see what price is doing at those levels. So we reach these highs. Is price manipulating those highs, or is it failing to manipulate those highs? And right as of now, it's failing to manipulate those highs. So we're going to see what the 9:30 open does. If it just runs straight higher at the 9:30 open, there's really not much else I'm going to do for the day. Now, what the only thing else we could look at is that we reach these relevant levels right here on the daily and see if we reverse off of there. But that wouldn't be something that I'd be interested in until at least 10 o'clock. And then would want to see a new swing point put in. So then probably won't even have any type of trade until like 10:30 or 11, just because I'm waiting for the candle closures to happen. So like I said, really what I'd like to do is see this open, come down, and continue higher would be really nice, especially if we can come into this fair value gap right here and put in a swing point right there. That would be nice to go higher. So it's just a waiting game at this point. We got about 8 minutes till the open. So Roosevelt, you asked how do the Mag 7 gives a value, but how do we interpretate it for a confluence? It's really just something that I've learned over time. I don't know if you've ever dug into the weighting of the Mag 7 on the individual indices. A lot of times you'll see that like it's more for ES than anything. The Mag 7 really doesn't have much weighting on the YM as much as it does on NQ and ES, but because the Mag 7 is a heavier weighting in NQ than it is ES, sometimes It can be a divergence indicator in the aspect of if we have NQ going up, the Mag 7's going up, but yet ES is going down, more than likely it's a manipulation on ES. So it's just something that I tend to look at. Um, Sometimes with earnings as well, because I am an earnings trader. One thing I have learned over 20 years of playing earnings is that when one or two large Mag 7 stocks has some type of earning event, which Nvidia had an earning event yesterday, um, a lot of times you're going to see a giant move from that one stock, but nothing else is really moving all that much. That again can be a manipulation. So a lot of times you'll see like Nvidia or Meta or Microsoft or Apple or somebody reports overnight and they spike, and therefore the whole index spikes. And then by the time it opens the next day, the spike has been completely wiped out and we're going in the opposite direction. And it's just because one stock did it. So when these stocks are so big that they can move entire indexes, you have to be careful on what that's going to happen. Like last night, after Nvidia's earnings, the market jumped from the 4 o'clock close until the 6 p.m. open. The market jumped like 400 points. That literally was just because of Nvidia. So it was one stock that made the whole entire index move up. So what I was looking for today was to see if after we actually open and start trading more, if that was just a manipulation or if we're going to continue with a continuation signature. And so we did not. So well, you can see how. So basically, from this, the 4 p.m. close until this whole move was Nvidia. It's one stock. So if that's going to be a manipulation, when we open up, we would just reverse off of it. We did not do that. What did we do? We slowly created this U-shaped retracement into a fair value gap, and then we put in a new higher time frame continuation on the hourly, which is right here. So once we had these close through of these candles, that's a new continuation that we put in. Now we left this fair value gap behind. So what I would like to see is for price to open here in about 5 minutes, trade into this hourly fair value gap, put in a new swing point, and then force to trade higher. So it's pretty simple. There's really not a lot else that I'm looking at today. It's just trade here and go higher. So if we open and just go straight up and hit these highs right off the open, then that's when I'm going to see, okay, well, that's another daily relevant level, right? Because those are those daily relevant levels that I'm looking for. And once we reach that, are we going to manipulate that? Or are we going to fail to manipulate it and continue higher? So let's go back to the currencies. Yeah, here we go. So they're not doing what I'd like them to do. Again, I'd like to see the dollar go higher, which means euros go lower. They're doing the opposite right now. So there's nothing I'm interested in that. And that's really all I'm looking for today. So let's see. Like I said, the only trade that I've gotten this week was the Sunday night. And I can go over that real quick. It's actually really simple. This is a complete breakdown of what I was looking for or what I look for. So if we go to a daily, if we look at Friday's close, so here's Friday's close. What did it do? It reached a daily relevant level, which was this swing point here. And we had an immediate reaction off of that level, right? I want to see immediate reaction. I'd like to see that V-shaped recovery. So if we see how it came down here in the morning on Friday, and then we immediately reacted off of that, that means we should see a continuation into Monday. So I traded this on a 15-minute chart. I normally trade Asia on a 15-minute chart, so it was actually really simple for me. So if I'm bullish, I want to see an open low. So what did the 6 p.m. candle do? It opened, it went lower. What did it react off of? It reacted off of a bunch of swing lows right here. We swept out those lows. That was a nice little stop hunt. And then what I did, it was around this time, around 6:45, that I was actually looking at my phone. And I was like, okay, well, I would like to take an entry to take this high, because that's a relevant level that we'd go get. So what I did was I set an alert right here, and I waited for that alert. So I wanted to see price come back and tag the opening price. And then I wanted to see us have a reaction off of these opposing candles. So it'd be a propulsion block entry. That's my favorite type of entry function. It's a propulsion block. So we opened up, We kept going. We hit that level. Boom, we had a reaction off of it. I actually took my order right before this candle closed. I figured it was like a minute or so before the candle closed, so I actually got in right there. And it was really nice because the next 15-minute candle went up like 280 something ticks, and I was like, all right, we're going, we're cruising, right? I thought I was gonna have a quick trade that night. Nope. My take profit didn't get hit until here at 2:15 in the morning. It just, and that's one of the things about the Asia session is that you're gonna get that sometimes. And then finally at 2:15 in the morning, it finally hit my profit. I was sleeping though at that point in time, and let me tell you, I love going to sleep with the trade on and then waking up and there being a nice little TP hit overnight when I don't have to watch all this play out and second guess yourself and move your stop and do all the stuff that you shouldn't do by over managing the trade and just letting it play out and going to sleep and not watching it. That's one way of doing it. So that's what I like to do a lot. Yeah, it's definitely nice to see that the next day for sure, especially when it happens like right at the open, right? Like this is still showing that this whole bullish function was still in play even over the weekend. You don't always get plays like that, but it was nice to see that. So it swept out all this liquidity, immediately had a reaction higher. We came into the down close candles, had an immediate reaction out of that, and then off we went. So it was an actual very easy trade. Yeah. Alice, if you have a problem with, oh, we're getting 9:30 open. Let's go watch. If you're having a problem with over managing, just enter a trade, set your stops and your take profits, and don't watch it. I mean, that was the way I overcame over managing trades a long time ago. Was I just stopped watching. So let's see what we got going on here. I like to see this Judas here. This is nice. I like this. Don't want it to raise too much, but we'll have to see here. Let's see what everyone else is doing. Yeah, see Dow always tends to do that. It wants to run higher, so it's the stronger asset right now. Yep, it just swept there. Okay, so what's important here now, guys, is that since Dow has taken this, if we still want to be bullish and think that ES and NQ are also going to go take that high and catch up with it, we're going to want to see Dow put in a new continuation signature above this high. If Dow doesn't put in a new continuation signature and this starts to fail and go through this fair value gap, then we could potentially be going lower. But I would like to see what's happening here. So this is where patience comes into play. So, and I don't even like to go down to the lower time frames until I see what I want to see on a higher time frame. So I know a lot of people are quick to go to a 1 minute or a 5 minute or whatever it is they're trying to look for they're entering on. I just sit on the hourly and just wait until I see what I want on the hourly. Then from there, I'll go down to a lower time frame. Yep. That's all you got to do. Dude, Kyra, there was a beautiful 5 minute unicorn on gold the other day. I think it was Monday. There was one at like 2 a.m., which you're probably sleeping, but I think it was like around 8 something in the morning. It was a continuation unicorn. Don't know if you caught that one, but it was nice. Yeah, it was on gold here. Let's go to gold. I think it was Monday morning. Monday or Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday. Yeah, it was here. It was Tuesday. There was a 5 minute uni right in there. And then I think it was around 8 something. There was another one. Let's go look. There was an OG C2 unicorn at 2 o'clock right there, which was nice. Yeah, there you go. There's your 5 minute one right there. And then, yeah, here was your other uni right there. It was at 8:05. You would have tagged in at 8:10. What are we doing here, guys? Yep. Russell and YM are doing their thing. ES is doing it. Definitely right now, NQ's the weakest right now, but see if it catches up. Currencies. Yeah. Currencies are doing the opposite of what I like them to do. So, no interest there. HO and oil. Yeah, oil's just, look at this. This is just on oil. Nothing going on there.
I haven't looked at oil in a long time, honestly.
No, dude, that is, yeah,
That 60 to like $65 range
yeah, dude,
that
it's
it's
just
been
been.
in for like what, four
Well,
months,
look at
maybe
since the
longer.
beginning of November. This is the daily chart since the beginning of November. It's just nothing. Yeah, that is ugly. Yep,
Yeah.
it's just ugly.
Well, you know what?
How
When
can I?
once it gets non-ugly, then that's when everything starts to be like let's call
Yep,
it more fun
yeah,
when there's
yep,
more freedom in there.
yep.
But it's just the cycles.
Hargbo Holler. I don't know if I said your name right. How is it? How can I see that the NQ is the weakest? It's really simple. So there's many different ways people do it. I simply can look at the average range levels, and I can just tell because look at the important levels here. So here's your ADR high, here's your ADR low, here's your 33%. Okay, well YM is already well past the ADR high. That's strength. That's showing a lot of strength right now, right? It's already well past it, and it's already taken these highs, right? The same exact highs that NQ and ES have not done. Then if we look at NQ and ES, what is ES doing right now? It currently is in an hourly up candle. It's up close. May wind up being up close. Look how big the down close is currently on NQ. Then I look at the 33% level. If you look at NQ, we went up. See how much further we retraced below the 33% level compared to ES bouncing off of the 33% level. So it's very simple to see that this is the strongest, this is the medium asset, and this the middle asset, and then right now this is the weakest. So and that's simply just using ADR. Like even looking at the ADR high, look at the distance between NQ currently, the ADR high there, and then look at the distance between ES currently and the ADR high. It's right there. So we have one asset that's way above the ADR. We have one asset that's almost at the ADR, and then we have another asset that's way below the ADR. So that's a really simple way to see strength and weakness. Yeah, I'll have to clip it. Hopefully that you can understand that, Harg.
Absolutely great breakdown right there.
Yeah.
Just looking at basically just mathematical averages
Mm-hmm.
and just comparing them and just saying, okay, well, what's really exceeding the average
Yeah.
and what's not,
Yeah, I
and
mean
just
the average.
give
It's
out.
so funny when I collaborated with you guys on the average range. I never I never even expected to use the average range levels like that. But every single day, I can just look at my chart and literally, based on where we are on the average range levels, I can immediately know what's the strongest and what the weakest is simply just by looking at where we are in relation to ADR high, ADR minus or low, and the 33%. It's very simple to look at. It is, yeah. It is the if you're an elite member, you already have it. And if not, it's the average range levels pro from Toodegrees. Go down to a 30-minute looking like here. Yeah. So now I've just dropped down to a 30-minute because now I'm kind of seeing what I want to see from the hourly, right? So the hourly is reacting here off of this fair value gap. It looks like YM is so far wanting to continue above these highs, and it's not put in a reversal yet. So we're still going to have to wait a little bit. But if we can get a 10 a.m., if we can get this 30-minute C2 to close up out of this fair value, this hourly fair value gap, then we could look to take a potential TTFM entry in the 10 o'clock candle. But we'll have to just patiently wait and see what happens. So at this point, the 9:30 open, it hasn't done anything, and it hasn't confirmed anything yet. So what we don't want to see is we don't want to see by the time 10 happens, YM retrace off of this level and start to create a wick on this candle, and then in Q start to break down below this fair value gap. Then that means we're starting to manipulate this high. So that's what we don't want to see. 5 minutes. Yeah, this is nothing right now. There's no confirmation of anything yet. No, you can. I don't I don't use the weekly. It's good to look at and maybe go back and kind of so that whole thing what I said about back testing. Um, what the one thing I do each week is I'll evaluate the week and go back and I'll look. It's not so much back testing as it is going, okay, what did I do for the week? What did I miss? And what could I have done differently? And that's when I'll actually go back to every asset and then kind of just look and be like, okay, what did I miss? What did I do wrong? And sometimes you can use the average weekly ranges to kind of show you that stuff, but I'm not I'm not a swing trader in that aspect, so I'm not that worried about the full weekly range. I just am trying to see what the next daily candle is going to do. And that's all I'm really looking at. So yeah, so now here we go. We can see now we're starting to get some reaction. Okay, what is YM doing? YM is starting to try to reverse off of this level, and NQ is starting to disrespect this fair value gap. So then it's putting in a manipulation of this level right here, right? So if we go back to the daily, did we reach any levels? No. Other than YM reaching this level here, uh, ES and NQ have not. So there's nothing to do. And so let's put it this way: if NQ and ES reverse here and they don't ever hit this daily level, I'm not trading for the day. A lot of you guys might, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people try to force themselves to find a specific trade every day, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's actually really funny because when I first started learning from T Trades a long time ago, I'd always see him be like, "This is what I want the market to do," and I always was like, "Man, how is this guy trying to like put his will upon the market?" He wasn't trying to put his will upon the market. He literally was like, "This is what I want to see, and if I don't see it, I'm not going to trade." Period. I don't care if the market reverses and there may be a bearish setup. If he's only looking for a bullish setup and one doesn't happen, then he doesn't trade, right? No, I won't. I won't do it. I won't. No, I'm only looking for longs. And if longs don't set up, then I'm not taking a trade today. I'm not going to go and flip it. Like I said, I'm not a reversal trader anymore. For those reversal traders, they may be the ones that want to do it. I'm not a reversal trader anymore. So it's not anything that I'm interested in. So we'll just go back to the 30-minute and let's see what we get here. See, now here we are. See, for you, those of you on the lower time frames would have probably been like, "Oh, we're gonna reverse. Let's get in a trade." You know what I mean? And then you would have been stopped out. But this is for a bullish. This is what we want to see. No, I don't look for longs on discount. Yeah, you mean like the auto bias alerts, Sonic? Is that what you mean? So I look at premium and discount in the aspect of how T Trades looks at premium and discount. And if we're bullish, you don't want price to come all the way back down into a discount zone. Because if we're bullish and we're marking out 50% of a candle and price wants to retrace all the way back down to 50% of that candle or lower, then that's a good possibility that it's going to continue even lower. So I look at premium discount in the aspect of, let's just go to a daily candle. Let's see some daily candles here. Let's take a look. Like this. This is a great example, right? So like let's go to NQ yesterday. So let's say you see Tuesday's candle. Big bearish candle. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out from the high to the low. I don't mark out to the high to the close. I don't mark out to the low of the candle. A lot of people do. I mark out from the high to the low. Okay, because in my mind, this is where we're going to be opening up. I don't care about this, right? So then here's premium and discount, right? I want to see price put in a swing point in respect to this box right here if we're going to continue lower. I don't want to wait till we're all the way up here before I start looking for a short. Because if we're all the way up here, more than likely, we're probably going to go to here, right? Well, what did the next day? What did the candle do? Boom. That's exactly what happened, right? So I look at premium discount in the opposite of how most people look at premium discount. I want the lower half in a bearish candle to be respected, not try to take a trade way up here. So I look at it as invalidation points. So if we go back to this candle, this is my daily process. If we want to continue lower, which I would have thought we were going to do here, right? If we would have continued lower, I'm going to go down to first, I'm going to mark out 50% and I'm going to look at a 4-hour candle. Okay? And I'm going to say, okay, in respect to 50%, where is there a PD array? There isn't. This is consolidation. Then I'll go down to an hourly. And I'll go, okay, where is there a PD array? There really isn't one, right, within this. So then the only other thing you can say is, okay, well, if we're going to continue lower, we're probably going to want to sweep these highs, right? If we're going to continue, either we're going to just open and go straight lower, or we're going to retrace up to here. Well, what did price wind up doing? It chopped around a bit, and it slowly went up, right? There you go. Okay, so we got this. This came back down at 10 o'clock. We really didn't do much of anything, and we went higher, right? So once this close happened, right, could we then go, okay, well, now my 50% invalidation has been hit. So now I'm potentially like, might not be interested. If we look at YM, it's a completely different chart, right? YM was significantly more bearish. So if we look at this same chart on YM and do that exact same process, you'll see why I was interested in wanting to short YM yesterday, not the NQ. So let's go to YM's chart. Keep in mind, guys, I'm not interested in anything until 10 o'clock. So we got 13 minutes till this closes. So patiently waiting.
We also got some medium impact news at 10. Just want you to be aware.
Oh, I don't pay attention to medium impact news.
Yeah.
What is it? I don't even know what it is.
Home sales.
Oh, home sales? Oh, I could care less about home sales. I care about home sales for my market, but I don't care about home sales when it comes to this stuff. Yeah. Being a day trading realtor, I care about home sales, which I'll tell you right now, home sales have been crap. I can tell you that before the report even comes out. I'm in the market every day, and new home builders have had to cut prices for like the 10th quarter or whatever it is in a row on new home sales. So no, I don't. Guys, I don't. The only news I care about is NFP, FOMC, and CPI. Anything else, I could care less about. And somebody asked earlier about, do I trade on news, high impact news? Absolutely. The high impact news days are the best days to trade on, because you're getting an 8:30 or 10 o'clock volatility injection in addition to the 9:30 volatility injection. So, but yeah. So if we look at YM, if I do that same process for YM on the daily, you can see it was completely different. on Wednesday. It didn't even make it to 50% of its daily candle. Whereas you can see that E&Q went well past it, right? So that's how I use premium and discount. It's kind of opposite about how everyone else does. So we'll get to the alerts. I can speak on, since we still got some time till these candles close, on how I have alerts set up specifically for TTFM. Let me just go to this 30-minute. Yeah, see, this is looking nice right here. So since this closure, let's see, what is the 1 hour going to look like? Yeah. So there's not an, this isn't going to be an hourly C2 candle. It actually, if this closes, we may want to with a C4, but 30 minutes looking good. But we just have to wait and see. It's all going to be about the closure. All about the closure. And so if this closes, and say it's like maybe like a down close candle, depending on if there's a change in state of delivery in it, I'd have to wait for another one, but we'll have to wait and see. So if it closes below this previous candle and there's no 3-minute change state of delivery or opposing candles close through there, then I'd have to wait for another 30-minute candle. Then we're not looking for a trade until 11 o'clock. So, but hopefully this closes up like this. Hopefully it does. ES would be the stronger of asset as well to potentially take, but the alerts, I don't know if you guys have seen my video on the TTFM alerts that I have set up, but I personally have daily alerts set up, so that's the first thing that I'm looking for, and I do that from a daily chart, or I'm sorry, from an hourly chart. So for those of you that have the TTFM indicator, I actually have a video on my YouTube channel that breaks all this stuff down, but it's really simple. You just go
Great
to,
video.
thank you, bro. It's just from an hourly chart. I have an hourly chart set, and then I have my indicator set to neutral. And then from there, you can just go to your alerts, hit add alert. And then you can actually choose your watch list. So if you have a watch list set up, right? Let me go to my watch lists. So I have this watch list called futures. And now this is dependent on what subscription you have on TradingView. I think you have to have a pro subscription or higher. But if you have a watch list set up, right, you can set the alert for the entire watch list. So you don't have to do it per asset. Now, this is one thing also that I recently learned that I did not know. When you have an alert set up based off of a watch list, when you add something new to that watch list, it will automatically add the alert to that ticker without you having to go back and set it up.
Really?
It does. Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
You know how I learned that? From the stupid Mag 7 ticker that I set up. Because all of a sudden I started getting TTFM alerts. I'm like, what the heck is this alert? I'm like, holy crap. So yeah. So if you do it based off of a watch list, when you add something to that watch list, it does it for you automatically. And you don't have to go back and set that up. So I was like, dang, that's awesome. So I learned that on accident. Yeah. So I set the alert up. I give it a name. I call it TTFM Daily. And the reason why I do that is because it's automatically going to show me every day at 6 o'clock, most of the time, if there's been an hourly change in state of delivery, if we're having a daily C2, 3, or 4 candle, right? Because that's what I want to know. So like last night, let's go to last night, 6 p.m. Okay, well, what did we get? 6 p.m. Last night, it's all these alerts I get. Look, all these are 6 p.m. alerts, right? Okay, so here we go. We have a bullish C2 on YM with a divergence. We have a bullish C3 on NQ with a divergence. RTY was a bearish candle C2. And then there was also a bearish C2 candle on NQ. So that means we had a double sweep. Was it a double sweep yesterday? Hold on. Was it? Let's go back. I didn't think it was a double sweep yesterday. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I got that. Should not have gotten that. That's weird. I don't know. I'll have to ask the developer about that one. But anyways, so I get the daily alerts. And then from there, that kind of gives me my daily plan without really having to do anything, because I just get those alerts on my phone and I go, okay, what are we looking at? Oh, we're doing so on and so forth. So it at least gives me a starting point of what I want to try to target for the day based on the daily closures. Then from there, I just have 15-minute 4-hour alerts set on auto bias 1. And then what that's going to do is it's going to show me 15-minute 4-hour fractal models that are only in line with the daily bias. So unless we're in a daily C2, or actually it's a daily C3 or 4 candle, I won't get any type of alerts because it has to be in line with the daily bias. And if you want to do that for a 5-minute and an hourly chart, you're going to want to set that to auto bias too, because then that way it will only give you alerts on a 5-minute hourly fractal model if we're in a daily C3 or 4 candle. So let's go back to the 30-minute here, see how we're doing. All right, so this is good. So we're setting up here. I do like this. The hourly, it's not going to give us an hourly C2, right? This is actually technically a C4 on the hourly right now, but this is a 30-minute right here. So from here, the properly aligned time frame would be a 3-minute. I'm just going to look between a 5-minute and a 3-minute. So all basically what I'm going to do here is I can do it on TTFM, obviously. What is that? Why does that look like that? There we go. Yeah. Okay. Let's just turn TTFM off there. All right. So the next thing is once this closes, this candle right here, right? What we're going to want to see is if this is our high here, we're going to want to see price. I'll measure out, oops. And the TTFM indicator does this automatically, which we'll look at in just a minute. But I'll measure out 50% of the candle, right? Right in here. And then what I'm going to want to see is at the open of the next candle, an open low, and then create a new swing point that's staying in respect to the upper half. I don't want it to come all the way back down here. If it comes all the way back down here, it's probably going to go to here, and then I'll wait for a new swing point to be put in. So I want to see this respected. So I'm bullish. So in this 10 o'clock candle, I want to see an open low, and then us go higher. So we're just going to patiently wait and see what happens. In the meantime, I need to plug in my computer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys notice one thing, what have I not done here? I have not rushed to take a trade. I'm letting, before I would have rushed and I wanted to get in the trade because I feel like it's going to run without me. If it runs without me, it runs without me. But I was always afraid of missing out. But I've learned to be patient, like very patient. Like, granted, this could go and just run before 10 o'clock. In the next 4 minutes, it could do it. And if it does it, it does it. But that's not my trade. My trade is to let this form, and then in the next candle, stay in respect to 50%, and then we take a trade. So now what I could do is I can go to a 3-minute and see if there are any points of interest. There's no points of interest really. Yeah, see, this is pretty much choppy. Like what it would be really nice if there would have been a fair value gap left behind here. And then the next candle opens and trades into that fair value gap and creates a swing point. That would have been really nice. Let's take a look at ES. See if what ES is looking like. Yeah, ES is, it's not a lot. So the only real points of interest we have here are these failure swings. So what that is already telling me is that there's probably a good potential that we're going to open low and sweep all these out before we continue higher, but we'll just have to see and wait. I'm not the biggest fan of how this lower time price action looks right here. Not the greatest. Let's go back to the 30-minute. We're going to wait and see what happens. There's probably already a early CSD if we pop on TTFM. Go to a 3-minute. Yep. Oh, and here's a divergence with YM. And we have the early CSD indicator right here. So this is what the TTFM looks like already on a 3-minute, since we're in a 30-minute candle. So this is a 30-minute C2. We have a divergence with YM that it's printed, and then you can see these little dash marks right here. And this is the early CSD indicator that's telling us that there's a CSD before the candle has closed on the 3 minute, which is what we want to see. So uh Alice, so it just depends what type of candle we have. If we're looking bullish and it's a down close C2 candle with a large wick, then yes, you would just measure out 50% of the wick. And in fact, the TTFM indicator, you can choose whether you want to use the whole candle or just the wicks for that stuff. Again, I don't like how this looks. I'm not the biggest fan of this because there's no real lower time frame POIs for us to open and trade into, right? So there's your T spot. Oh, I don't like it opening and going straight higher. I want to see it open and go lower. So there's my alerts. You can see I'm getting a bunch of alerts, and that's a 15-minute, 4-hour alert. So if we went to a 15-minute chart, yeah. So this is a 4-hour. This was look like a C3 closure on a 4-hour chart right here. So this is a 15-minute model as well. Yep. So you see how it prints C3. So it's not a C2 closure because it wasn't this that closed. It was this that created the reversal here. So this is a C3 closure. So here's a 15-minute. And this is in line with the daily. So I'm only getting this alert because it's also a daily fractal model. So that's how the auto bias alerts work right there. So let's just wait. What's the 5-minute look like? Yeah, still nothing really good. What's YM doing? So good sign. YM's consolidating above this high, which is a good sign, right? Because usually consolidation means we're going to have probably a expansion out of it. So usually price does not reverse out of a consolidation without a sweep of a level. So still just waiting. Again, this going up right here, guys. I know some people will be like, "Oh, it's going to run without me." I don't care. I don't want it to go higher first. I want it to come down into this level first. If it just goes without me. I don't care. What's currencies doing? Yeah, the currencies are still playing games here. Nothing much going on with them. Gold finally went from that entry earlier in the day. Did it go and take those highs? Not quite yet. Okay, here we go. Starting to let's retrace some here, please. Sorry, this isn't more exciting, guys. Anybody have any other questions while we're waiting?
This is real trading.
Yeah, man. It's just about patience. I mean, there's probably entries people could have taken on a 1 minute, down here and gotten in, and which is good, good. It's not me.
One key thing that I do look at is looking at that 9:30 open,
Mm-hmm.
and basically we were like rejecting that pretty much the whole beginning of the session, and then they started to flip it, and that happened at like 9:50, and that was pretty much the only little small, let's call it scalp, I would say that I would feel more confident in
Yeah, the
looking
nine
at.
the 9:30
But
went lower. Yeah, and then we didn't really get a close above it until here. Really, the true close above the
yeah,
9:30 on a 5 minute
but
at
still,
least.
like if you look at the whole like 1 minute and 2 minute, 3 minute, it's really wicky.
It
Like I
is.
don't know
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you can see that.
It's
So like
super wiki. Yeah,
yeah, so
I'm
when
not a
those
fan of that.
conditions present each other, yeah, it's not.
Nah.
There's gonna be scalps that you're gonna get probably stopped at break even if you do take them if you're
Yeah,
not taking partial. So it's like.
I'm not a scalper anymore either, so it's not like I said. It's not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do
15-minute
well.
only.
Well, not just
Yeah,
15
yeah.
minute only. I'll go lower, but it needs to be higher time frame structure. That's lining up with it.
I got you.
Yeah. Like I'll go to a 5 minute, maybe a 3 minute. Again, this one was based off of a 30-minute closure C2. So that's why it would be a potential 3 minute. I don't there's no real like this. Okay. So if this creates a new close through right here, right? I'm still not taking that trade. Why? Because it hasn't reached into a real point of interest. This down close candle, it doesn't mean anything to me because it didn't reach into a point of interest, right? So it's not done anything yet for me. So I'm not interested in anything. Now, if ES would come and sweep this stuff out, right? And then put in a new swing point, that's interesting to me. But this, I'm not interested. Still not interested in any of this.
So basically, you like filtering based all of your order blocks either from a fair value gap or a sweep, and
I'd like
if it
to see
doesn't
that.
have
Yep.
that,
Right. Yep. If it doesn't have that,
it's just
then it's probably going to
order.
need to come down further to do that. Yes. Yep. And
Makes
that
sense.
that has taken me a long time to understand and to trust that and not be like, oh, it just closed above. It's going to go without me. Right. And I got to be honest, dude. It's from, look at this. See, look at, now here we go. We're coming down lower because it needs to come get this stuff. And that is strictly because of T trades drilling that into my head day in and day out. And like sometimes it takes a while, guys, for you to understand this stuff. But like right now, it's doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. Like there was no points of interest for it to trade into. So it needs to find a point of interest to trade away from. And that's what it's trying to do right now. And so now this is retracing this much here, right? If we start to get deep retracements, right, and it just starts to consolidate, then I'm probably really not going to be interested to see anything until the next 30-minute candle closes. Because then it's probably going to sweep one more time before it wants to go higher. So now a lot of people right here
You
might
back
be,
at that 9:30
what's that?
opening
Yeah,
price.
here's 9:30 opening price. Yep. Now a lot of people might
Right.
go, well, we just swept the high of day and we put in a 3-minute change of state of delivery. Sure. And you may want to short from here. But that's perfectly fine. You got a lot of low resistance liquidity. Yeah, that might be a great trade. It's not a trade I'm looking at. So my plan was for longer to reach these highs. Anything other than that, I don't care about. And if this doesn't set up, then I'm just not taking a trade today. Yeah, I want to see in the next candle, which we're in the next candle, I want to see a point of interest around 50% of it. But you can see here now we have broken through 50%. Right? This is why? Because there was no point of interest for it to trade to. There was nothing. These are all failure swings, right? So because there was no point of interest to trade into, there's nothing for me to do. So now that we're coming this low, more than likely it's probably going to sweep this out. And then if it creates a new swing point after that, then my process starts all over again. Then I'll wait for the new candle to close, wait for the new one to open, look for a new point of interest in respect to 50% of the previous candle, and then wait for a continuation out of that POI. Until then, there's nothing to do. I don't care that it's going short. I'm not in the mode of going, oh, well, we swept this high. All this looks great to go get. And very well, it could go get it. But that's not my trade. So I don't care about it. Yeah. So it's semi-mechanical, right? So you have to be mechanical in your process, but you can use intuition at the same time, right? You can have that intuition mixed with mechanicalness. And let me tell you this right now, guys. Let me tell you this right now. I know a lot very personal friends with a lot of the top traders in this space. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not putting any of them on blast. Many of them take trades that have nothing to do with their model, and it's purely intuition. And they will not post those trades. I see them personally. They won't post those trades, right? Because it's not a part of their model. So trading is partially mechanical and it's partially intuition. And the intuition part of it only comes with a lot of experience in the market. So if you're new, try to stay as mechanical as possible. Yes, right? But the longer you do this and the longer you stare at these charts, the more you're going to get a feel for what the market wants to do. You'll just see these things happen over and over again in your mind, and you're going to remember those things, right? And it may be completely against a mechanical process, and you're still going to be just fine, right? So there's a lot of that out there. So it's mostly mechanical, but it's also a big part of it is somewhat intuition in a way. So yeah, it is. Yeah.
Really comes down to that screen time
Yep.
and healthy screen time.
Yep.
Like as I would definitely illustrate, healthy screen time is way different than just having screen time.
Yep.
So
Exactly. So now that all this has happened, right? We don't necessarily want to see us retrace this far down. Okay. So to, at this point, I'm going to have to wait for another 30-minute candle to close, right? I want to see this close. Depending on where it closed from, I would have to wait for another 30-minute to create a new swing point for me right now. Because, again, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like this is just going to keep coming lower, right? It's retraced this much already. Let's see. ES is retracing. It swept the high, right? This has swept the high. So at this point, I think it's just a bit of a retracement, and we just have to patiently wait. So, and again, if this turns into a full blown reversal and it comes down and gets these lows down here, which do look good for that, again, it's not my trade. I'm not taking it. Yesterday, it would have been my trade because I was only looking bearish for YM yesterday. Like that's what I wanted to see. And it swept all those highs. So did NQ and ES. And then it put in that reversal. That's when it was my trade. And I missed it because I gave up too early. Yeah. Oh yeah. I still trade 6E, brother. Yeah. I talked about it earlier. I think you weren't here. I want 6E to go lower. But now okay, so here we go. So now we're finally getting somewhat of a reversal on the dollar. So what does the hourly look like on the dollar? Yeah. I would like 6E to go lower for sure. But I want the dollar to guide me first before it does it. No, it's all good. It's all good, bro. Yeah, last 3-4 months, I think most of my trades have been gold 6E and like very few on the indices. In fact, the NQ trade that I took this week was like my first trade in probably 3 weeks on the indices. It's mostly been gold and 6E. Yeah, I do it. So, it's actually kind of funny. So, HO from a daily perspective is cleaner than CL and RB. The risk is just so big on HO. Like I wish I could just trade HO, but it's that per tick value is pretty large. It's kind of like silver. It's pretty big. So when I only want to risk like 500 a trade, and then I look at a trade on HO and it's a beautiful trade and it's like risking $700, I'm like, oh man, come on. So it is what it is. But HO really likes to, especially when it comes to swing points. YM and HO are very similar in the aspect that you could look at a daily chart and see when a daily C2 swing forms. And it just loves to continue in a C3 and C4 on a daily. YM and HO are very similar in that aspect. CL likes to play games a lot, kind of like gold, where, and this I was talking with another trader about this. The thing about gold and CL is that unlike your normal indices, their price is derived by an industry and a real supply and demand. Yeah, exactly. Like CL really, they OPEC can literally control the price of oil based on how much they allow to be produced or not. Right? Like I don't care what we're trading. Like it doesn't matter. Guys, it's not us buying and selling gold that or oil that's making it go up and down. It's the fact of where OPEC is allowing how much production, right? That's what sets the price of gold or of oil, sorry. And then gold is set by how much is being mined, right? How much supply is in the market. So those two assets, sometimes you can say, oh, it took out a swing high. There's equal highs. It's going to go take it. And then there's other times where it's going to go right to it and it's just going to play games with you. So it's definitely an interesting asset. And if you guys want to trade gold or CL, learn what it does. Gold loves to make moves overnight. You get into a New York session, you have an obvious higher low as a target. It sets up lower, nice on the lower time frames, and then it will just chop sideways for the rest of the day. And then as soon as Asia opens, it will run right to that target that you had set for the New York session. That has happened to me so many times. So I learned. So guess what? I just wait till Asia to trade, especially if there's a target, a higher low left from New York session that it didn't hit. Just wait till Asia, and it will just trade like almost immediately right to it as soon as the market opens. It loves to do that.
I want to add a really clear point to this is that every trader has a different personality,
Mm-hmm.
and finding a market that suits your personality
Yep.
is so like not talked about enough. Like, and I really mean that. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be able to try different assets,
100%.
and in an environment that's obviously not going to hurt you, meaning minimal leverage,
Yep.
if not demo count,
Sure.
and really just understand through screen time certain assets.
Yep.
And you'll realize over time that just because one person trades it or another person, says that it's their favorite market, that might not suit your personality. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just a huge thing that I definitely want traders to understand.
Absolutely.
So
Yep. And I want to point out one thing here on this 3 minute here. And again, this is something learned from T Trades. The act of failing to change state of delivery is a very important thing to watch, right? So the fact that we couldn't close above these down close candles, that's almost can be a trigger for you, right? You see, we hit it twice on a 3 minute candle. Came up, went below it. Came up, went below it. That means we failed to change the state of delivery or continuation. Is it really a change state of delivery? At this point on a 3 minute, 30 minute chart, here's your change state of delivery. These are continuation signatures. So instead of saying it failed to change the state of delivery, it failed to put in a new continuation signature. That is usually a good sign that price is either going to reverse or retrace on you, because you can see that right here. Like if you look at this one, what did it do? It went right through it, convincingly went through it, right? But then when it tried to do a new one, it couldn't do it. So that's something to watch for. And again, that's something that took me a long time to understand and just see it play out over and over again to go, oh, well, there you go. So let's go back to a 30 minute here. So regardless how this closes, right? Regardless how this closes, I'm going to want to wait for a new 30 minute candle before I even try to do anything. So this could retrace all the way back up. Let's see what it's going to do. This sweep, nope. One good sign is that NQ or YM retraced to that high and now is reacting off that. That's a good sign for a continuation. So we just have to see. So here you go, guys. So this is a great example of this. Like We haven't traded into a POI here, but we definitely traded into a POI on YM, right? There's two POIs here. Again, these are lower time frames, but we have a 3-minute close through and we have a fair value gap. And inside that fair value gap, we had some swing lows. And those swing lows were at that previous swing high. Like this is nice right here. Like that's what you want to see. Right there. See, if this structure was on NQ, I'd probably be taking this trade right now. But this structure is not on NQ, and I'm not trading YM. Why am I not trading YM? Because it reached the objective that I wanted for the day already. NQ has not. So my target is still open. I don't have targets for YM anymore. Can it continue longer? Sure. The other thing is YM is already at 117% of its average daily range. ES is at 111% of its average daily range. And NQ is only at 75%. So, granted, if we do trade this, we're technically trading the weaker asset. But that's the other thing to pay attention to is that we're pretty extended already, right? We're really extended. So, can we continue higher? Sure. But what are the probabilities that we're going to have 120, 130, 150% ADR day? It can happen, but it doesn't happen quite often. So, I mean, usually, usually do it. The Russell does like what YM doing. YM and the Russell are more closely related or correlated than NQ and ES are. In other words, correlated to the Russell itself. So usually YM and Russell are doing the same thing. Alles, I think that's like a misnomer. Is that even possible? I don't know, bro. I've been with my wife for 24 years, so it's been a long time since I had an ex girlfriend. I couldn't answer that one for you. Yeah, so like Josh said, you probably could have found a scalp like on a 1 minute, but I mean, literally, guys, from the open to here, we've done nothing. With this to me, is it? It's like what 150. I mean, it's a pretty decent range, about 150 points from here to there, but there's really just no structure for me to enter on any of the stuff here. And now here we are coming up into this, trying to create a new bearish swing, but I'll just keep watching it. Boom. That's a win right there, Kyra. I never knew that, bro. What's 5 minute looking like? Another thing to note here is to go with the average daily range. We have about 120 points or so left, 115 points in Q before it reaches its 100% of the average daily range. So then from where we are here to our profit target, of where I'd be only interested in trading up to, it's about 105 points. So that that's good as far as a target is concerned. That we're still with, if we reach that target from this price here, we don't have to go past 100% of the ADR to get to that target. Oh yeah, I'm recording this live stream to it, so I'll upload it later today. You're welcome. If you guys are even finding value in it, so I don't want to post a bunch of stuff that's not of value.
As we approach the timing as of right now, we're about to
Yeah,
get to 10:30,
yeah,
and if anyone can just fully just be on the same page, like the NQ right now in the 1 minute and 2 minute, 3 minute, it just looks like garbage.
yeah.
Like
There's not a lot here
we
happening.
we've expanded a lot, and now we
Yeah,
just have AM session slop. So,
yep. It's not.
um,
I in order.
yeah,
Yeah, we could probably kill it here because again I'm not. I would need to want to see now us come and make some new type of swing point before I'm even interested in doing anything. Like this stuff doesn't interest me right now. So,
no, it's not even for me either.
yep.
I even look at the lower time frames, and it's a 1 minute chart right now on NQ, it just looks so bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I, I'm not a fan. So
No,
sometimes you just gotta just step back and just realize that okay, well,
it
there's
is
just
what
gonna
it
be
is.
some
Yep.
times that you don't want to, because if you force something in this and God forbid you take a loss and this and that, you're just gonna beat yourself up because you know
Yep.
that like it's not screaming at you and like
No.
like this is
Like
when
if
it's
this.
screaming at you and you're gonna kick yourself in the like butt for not taking a setup, like
Yeah.
those are the times that you want to definitely journal. But like when I have something like this, like I just don't feel pressed in
No.
like basically like taking one side or another, and like I'd be content not taking one in this environment.
Like this. If this was in Q, this is what I'd been. This is what I would have done. But it's not. It's YM, and I don't have any other targets for YM right now. So it's not. It's nothing that I'm super interested in. And the only reason why this would have been of any interest to me, actually, let me just draw it, make sure it went above 50% of those candles. I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah. So this is one entry that I'm interested in taking if it's coming out of a point of interest. So you see how I lined up all these points of interest. This is a 3 minute chart, right? We had a close through, we had a fair value gap, we had a swing low at a previous swing high that it took. Then it came down into it and it closed above 50% of these candles. It's a little more of an advanced entry function, but I'm okay. I prefer to be on a higher time frame, like a 15 minute, but this is a 3 minute one. But since there was just this reaction out of it, and we had this close above this 50% of these bodies of these down close candles, again, it's a little more of an advanced entry function. This would have been something I'd been interested in if it was in Q, but it's not because again, I don't have targets. This could just come right down, sweep that out, and then reverse on us. But within Q, there was still obvious targets for it to go get. So if this would have been in Q, I would have taken this trade right here, but it's not. So is what it is.
Great breakdown right there.
Yeah.
All right, does anybody else have any last questions? I'll type the chat. Any last questions? Let us know. And yeah, happy to look to answer it and probably wrap up the stream kind of soon.
AAA currently
So
have a C2 with an M15 engine. I'm not sure what are you talking about on NQ?
haven't heard it call an engine.
Yeah.
What do you mean by engine?
Yeah, I don't see a 15 minute. Oh, you mean a 4 hour C2? I'm a little confused. I don't see any 15 minute C2. Oh, you mean this C2 right here? This one? Yeah, but it didn't do anything. Like it didn't sweep. I would want to have seen that sweep this. Like that's what I would want to have seen. It didn't really do nothing here. So no, I don't ever trade two of the same one time. Never. Nope. 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 So, yep. That's about it, guys. So if there's no other questions, I'll probably kill it here.
I appreciate you.
Yep.
It was fun talking. Also great insights from looking at TTFM, looking at, specifically just patience,
Mm-hmm.
right? And looking to demand really what you want to see as your own light bulb setup.
Yep.
And that's something very powerful because if you're just looking to execute constantly, then those, appearances of when price is going to really stick out to you will be far less.
Yep.
And, that process from what you just, outlined in here, it's what someone needs to hear. And allows them just to stay grounded
Cool.
because these markets will definitely lure people into thinking one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you have a uniform process, it should definitely reduce that feeling. So
Yep. Absolutely. And you learn. I know you guys hear it all the time, but learn to fall in love with the process and detach yourself from the outcome. It's very,
there you
very,
go.
very, very hard to do. But once you do it and you just fall in love with the process and know what it is that you want to see and demand from yourself that you don't do anything until you see what you want to see, that's when you'll really have a breakthrough in trading.
That.
Yep.
We'll end on that note. If anyone
Very
else
good.
has any questions, just let us know in the general chat. We're
Yep.
always happy to help. And Day Trade Realtor, we appreciate you and
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
welcome back at any time.
Awesome. All right. Well, maybe next stream we can get a trade. So,
All right,
yeah.
all right.
All right. Everybody stay safe. Happy trading. Take it easy.
Have a good one, everyone.
Yep.